Chosen one. Stop for a moment and breathe deeply. Because this is not just another message passing through your day, this is a warning meant to reach you before you make a move that could cost far more than you realize. God is saying, no, no, no. Do not move. Do not react. Do not fall for this. There is something in front of you that looks promising, sounds convincing, and feels almost heaven-sent. But the Lord is telling you to slow down and listen carefully, because not everything that shines carries His light. You were not brought here by accident. You were interrupted on purpose. Heaven saw the step you were about to take, the door you were about to open, the person you were about to trust, the decision you were about to justify. And God stepped in before the damage could begin. This is why your spirit has felt restless. This is why something inside you has been whispering that all is not as it seems. You are not imagining it. You are sensing a trap disguised as an answer. The enemy has studied your exhaustion, your longing, your private prayers, your hunger for relief, and he has prepared something tailored to your vulnerable moment. But God, in His mercy, is exposing it before it closes around you. Chosen one. This is not the hour to be impulsive. This is not the hour to be flattered by appearances. This is the hour to become still enough to hear the voice of God above the noise of your emotions. What is coming later in this message is even more urgent, because the danger is closer than you think, and the truth is deeper than what you can currently see. So clear your mind. Listen alone if you must, and stay until the very end. Because the Lord is not only warning you, He is protecting your destiny. If this word is already stirring something in your spirit, comment 777 as your declaration that you will not be deceived. Like this video, subscribe to this channel, and share this message with someone who needs discernment right now, because what God is revealing in this hour is too important to ignore. What stands before you now is not a small distraction, not a harmless delay, not an ordinary temptation that will pass without consequence. It is serious. It is strategic. It is spiritual. What makes it dangerous is not that it looks evil, but that it looks right enough to be trusted, beautiful enough to be welcomed, and timely enough to be mistaken for the hand of God. That is how the snare works. It does not announce itself as destruction. It arrives dressed as relief. It approaches sounding like the answer, feeling like confirmation, appearing like the very breakthrough you have cried for in private. But heaven is sounding the alarm, because one wrong step here is not a minor error. One wrong step here can entangle your peace, cloud your discernment, weaken your focus, and delay what God has been building in you through pain, prayer, and endurance. This is why you cannot afford to be casual right now. This is why you cannot afford to call everything that opens a blessing. Some doors open to test whether you can discern, not to reward your waiting. Some voices speak kindly only to pull you out of alignment. Some opportunities shine brightly only because they were polished to seduce the weary parts of you that are desperate for movement. The enemy has not come empty-handed. He has come prepared. He has studied your hunger, your fatigue, your secret disappointments, your longing to finally see something shift. He knows the exact shape of the thing that could make you lower your guard. He knows what kind of attention would soften you, what kind of offer would rush you, what kind of promise would tempt you to move before God says, move. That is why this warning is urgent. This is not about fear. This is about preservation. This is about heaven protecting your future from a decision that could wound far more than your feelings. There are traps that do not break you in a day. They break momentum over months, peace over years, and confidence in ways that are slow, silent, and costly. What looks like quick access may become long captivity. What feels like sudden favor may become hidden bondage. And if you are not watchful, you may call it provision while it is quietly draining your strength. So do not romanticize what is pressuring you. Do not sanctify what is confusing you. Do not rush toward what your spirit cannot rest in. God is not merely telling you to wait. He is telling you to survive what was designed to derail you, and to come through this moment with your clarity, your calling, and your destiny still intact. There are moments in life when the danger is not outside, you first, but near enough to your heart to feel like it belongs there. This is one of those moments. What is reaching for you now is not random, and it is not shallow. It has been shaped around your weariness, your longing, your silent ache to finally be seen, finally be chosen, finally be relieved of the weight you have been carrying for so long. That is why this warning cuts so deep. The enemy does not waste time offering what your soul would instantly reject. He studies the hidden places. He watches the tears no one noticed, the prayers you whispered when no one was around, the disappointment you buried beneath strength, the hunger you tried to sanctify by calling it patience. He knows where you are most vulnerable, and he knows how to make the wrong thing feel like mercy. He knows how to make the counterfeit feel tender. He knows how to make the trap feel overdue, deserved, almost holy. And that is why heaven is interrupting you now. Because what is before you has been tailored to the exact shape of your weakness. It is not only a temptation, it is a personal assault against your discernment, your peace, your assignment, your future. It is coming close because your calling is costly to hell. You have not been resisted this fiercely because you are forgotten. You have been resisting this fiercely because you matter, because there is oil on your life, because there is a purpose on your name, because there is something ahead of you that the enemy wants to delay, distort, or drain before it fully rises. Do you understand the weight of this? He is not merely trying to get your attention. He is trying to redirect your steps. He is trying to place one emotional decision, one premature attachment, one impulsive yes between you and the destiny God has been preparing in secret. This is why your spirit has been uneasy, even when your flesh felt drawn in. This is why the deeper part of you has not fully rested. Something in you knows that what glitters is not always glory. Something in you knows that what feels immediate is not always ordained. You must listen to that holy discomfort. You must honor that inward warning. Do not betray your discernment just because something arrived wearing the face of comfort. Do not silence the alarm just because the offer is attractive. Ask yourself with absolute honesty, why does this thing pull so hard on the places in me that are still healing? Why does it demand a quick answer from a spirit that is still seeking peace? Why does it stir urgency but not rest? Heaven is not exposing this to shame you. Heaven is exposing this to save you. And if you will stay still long enough, pray deep enough, and listen closely enough, God will show you what this really is before it ever has the chance to take from you what took years to rebuild. The pressure to move quickly is not innocent. It is not accidental. It is one of the enemy's oldest weapons, because he knows that if he can rush you, He can weaken you if he can make you feel that you must answer now, decide now, trust now, commit now. Then he can push you past the place of prayer and into the place of reaction, and that is where many destinies have been wounded, not always through rebellion, not always through open sin, sometimes through haste, through emotional speed, through that dangerous moment when something feels so urgent that you mistake pressure for purpose. But hear this clearly. God does not need panic to fulfill his will in your life. He does not need confusion to release what is truly yours. He does not need fear, deadlines, emotional force, or inner chaos to move you into alignment. The enemy does. That is why what is in front of you feels like it is demanding an answer before you can breathe, before you can think, before you can truly discern. It is trying to outrun your wisdom. It is trying to get your yes before your spirit fully wakes up to what is hidden underneath it. And this is why heaven is slowing you down. This is why you feel that resistance. This is why everything inside you has not fully agreed. Even if part of you feels excited, you are being protected from the kind of decision that looks small in the moment but creates consequences that echo much longer than you imagined. One rushed move can open the door to months of confusion. One hurried attachment can drain years of strength. One impulsive step can delay what God intended to establish with peace, clarity, and clean hands. Do not underestimate how serious this is. There are people who are still recovering from what they agreed to in one unguarded hour, still rebuilding from one relationship they entered too fast, still healing from one opportunity they called favor before testing the spirit behind it. This is not the hour to let urgency preach to you. This is the hour to become still enough to hear God over the noise. For as it is written in 1 Corinthians 14:33, for God is not the author of confusion, but of peace. So if confusion is speaking louder than peace, do not move. If pressure is greater than clarity, do not move. If the need to act is outrunning your discernment, do not move. Let the world rush. Let the counterfeit push. Let the enemy create noise. But you be still. Be watchful. Be anchored, because what God gives will not require you to abandon discernment in order to keep it, and what is truly sent by heaven will remain pure even after prayer, time, and testing. Not every open door is an invitation from God, and that truth is heavier than many are willing to face, because some of the greatest heartbreaks begin with things that looked answered, things that looked blessed, things that looked exactly like the next step you had been begging heaven to send. This is why discernment matters so much in this hour. You are not dealing with something obvious. You are dealing with something polished, something persuasive, something that knows how to wear the language of favor while hiding the spirit of sabotage. Some doors open to elevate you, and there are doors that open to examine whether you have learned to recognize the difference between what is from God and what only imitates Him. That is why you cannot be moved by appearance alone. You cannot be led by excitement alone. You cannot call something divine just because it arrived after a long season of waiting. Sometimes the enemy waits until you are exhausted from disappointment, then sends a counterfeit that looks close enough to the promise to make you lower your guard. And if you are not careful, you will celebrate the very thing that came to drain your peace. Hear this with all seriousness. A false blessing does not always enter your life to destroy you instantly. Sometimes it enters to delay you slowly, to weaken you quietly, to occupy your heart, your mind, your time, and your strength until you no longer have the sharpness to pursue what God actually prepared for you. That is why some things feel beautiful at first and costly later. They glow in the beginning, but behind the shine is compromise, confusion, pressure, and hidden grief. God is not merely concerned with whether something looks good. He is concerned with what it will do to your spirit after you have lived inside it. Will it strengthen your walk, or slowly suffocate it? Will it deepen your peace, or train you to live without it? Will it pull you closer to truth, or teach you to survive in mixtures where something looks holy on the surface but leaves your inner life starving? C.S. Lewis wrote, "In mere Christianity, do not waste time bothering whether you love your neighbor. Act as if you did." There is wisdom in that here. Do not wait for every emotion to become comfortable before you obey God. Do not wait until your flesh loses interest before you choose holiness. Obedience is not proven when temptation disappears. Obedience is proven when the thing still looks desirable, but you choose truth over appetite, peace over pressure, destiny over impulse. Some doors must be walked away from while they are still calling your name. Some offers must be refused while they still look golden. Some voices must be silenced while they are still flattering the wounded parts of you. Because what is truly from God can survive prayer, testing, time, and stillness. It does not collapse when questioned. It does not demand access before discernment. It does not punish you for going slow. It does not need your panic to remain open. What God sends comes with weight. Yes, but it also comes with clarity. It may stretch you, but it will not seduce you away from your center. It may require faith, but it will not require you to betray the warning in your spirit just to keep it. So look again, slow down again, pray again, ask with full honesty, does this carry the peace of God, or only the thrill of being wanted? Does this align with my calling, or only appeal to my craving? Have you ever thanked God for shutting a door that once looked perfect? And is there something in your life right now that seems good on the outside, but leaves your spirit unsettled within? Not every voice around you is helping you reach your destiny. And that is a painful truth, because some of the deepest traps do not come through strangers. They come through people who already have access, people you have laughed with, confided in, leaned on, listened to, and trusted. That is what makes this part of the warning so difficult. The danger does not always stand at a distance, looking, threatening. Sometimes it sits close enough to feel familiar. Sometimes it speaks in a tone that sounds caring. Sometimes it comes wrapped in advice, concern, affection, even loyalty. But if you listen beneath the surface, you will begin to notice something is off. The words may sound supportive, yet they leave your spirit heavy. The conversations may seem harmless, yet they stir confusion instead of clarity. The connection may feel strong, yet every time you engage it, your discernment weakens and your peace begins to slip. You must understand this with sober eyes. Not everyone around you is aligned with where God is taking you. Some people are connected to your history, but not your future. Some are attached to your presence, but uncomfortable with your elevation. Some smile at your potential, but inwardly resist the cost of what your calling will require. And when envy, insecurity, fear, or hidden agenda enter a relationship, the enemy has something to work with. He does not need everyone around you to hate you openly. He only needs subtle influence. A little pressure, a little manipulation, a little doubt planted at the right time, a little voice that says, "You're overthinking it. Just do it. Just trust it. Just move." But if that voice keeps pushing you away from prayer, away from patience, away from the warning in your spirit, then you must stop treating it as harmless. The wrong influence rarely begins with open destruction. It begins by normalizing misalignment. It begins by making you comfortable with what God has already made you uneasy about. It begins by teaching you to ignore the check in your spirit for the sake of keeping connection, approval, or emotional comfort. And that is where many people lose ground. They fought hard to gain. Be careful who gets to speak into your vulnerable places. Be careful who interprets your pain for you. Be careful who keeps urging movement when God is calling you to stillness. Some people do not even realize they are being used to distract you. But the effect is the same if you are not discerning. This is why you must watch patterns, not just words. Watch what happens to your peace after certain conversations. Watch what rises in you after certain interactions. Watch who becomes restless when you slow down and seek God. Has someone around you been pushing you faster than your spirit can rest? Has anyone's presence lately left you more confused than clear? Pay attention. God may be showing you that what feels familiar is no longer safe for where you are going. Sometimes the warning does not come first through words. Sometimes it comes through the atmosphere around you, through disruption, through heaviness, through a restlessness you cannot explain away. Things begin to feel different. Not always dramatic, not always visible, but different enough that your spirit starts paying attention before your mind has language for it. Plans begin to break apart at strange moments. Simple things become unusually complicated. Technology fails. Communication twists. Delays appear. Tension rises out of nowhere. And your emotional center feels pressed in ways that do not match the size of the situation. Do not dismiss this too quickly. Not every disturbance is random. Not every sudden weight is ordinary. There are moments when God allows your environment to shift because He is trying to alert you before you walk further into something that was never meant for you. Your spirit can sense danger before your logic can explain it. That uneasy feeling in a room, that sudden discomfort around a person, that unshakable hesitation when everything on the outside seems fine, these are not things to mock. And they are not things to silence just because they are inconvenient. They may be part of the mercy of God. They may be the early trembling before a deeper revelation. The enemy wants you to ignore these signals. He wants you to explain them away, to call them stress, to call them mood, to call them overthinking, anything except what they might truly be, a spiritual alarm. Because if he can keep you disconnected from your discernment, he can lead you deeper before you ever realize what is happening. But God is not the author of confusion in your life. He is the one who warns, the one who interrupts, the one who lets discomfort rise when danger is near, so that you will not drift into destruction with a smile on your face. And as Colossians 3:15